Welcome to the Northwest Welland Secondary Plan Virtual Presentation. This presentation provides an update of the work completed on the Secondary Plan project to date and introduces draft Secondary Plan policies and urban design guidelines for Northwest Welland. These were recently developed within Phase 3 of the study. The presentation also delivers information to help you provide comments on these draft documents. SGL Planning and Design are the consultants leading this study, along with city staff and key stakeholders. We have been working towards the completion of the secondary plan for the City of Welland. My name is Sierra Horton, and I'm one of the consultants from SGL working on this project. I will be taking you through this presentation. To provide an overview of the study and recap the work completed so far, the next couple of slides will provide information on the location of the secondary plan, the purpose of the study, and a summary of the land use options and preferred land use plan developed as a part of Phase 2. In the second portion of the presentation, I'll provide an outline of the draft secondary plan policies, urban design guidelines, and land use structure for Northwest Welland recently developed in Phase 3 of the study. The third portion of the presentation is structured to provide an overview of the land use elements of the secondary plan, highlighting key directions from both the policies and guidelines. Finally, I will discuss project next steps and outline how public feedback will be collected and used to shape the final version of the secondary plan. As a reminder, the secondary plan is located within the northwest corner of the City of Welland and comprises of approximately 190 hectares of primarily rural and agricultural lands. The area is bordered by the City of Thorold to the north, as well as the town of Pelham to both the north and west. Generally, agricultural land and low-density residential neighborhoods surround the area, in addition to the rear lot lines of commercial businesses along Niagara Street to the east, as well as the Niagara College Welland campus to the south. Access to the college and connections to surrounding neighborhoods were key factors in the development of the plan for the area. The City of Welland has accommodated nearly all of its recent growth within its designated built-up area, as well as an increasing portion of growth within its designated greenfield areas. As the city evolves over the next 20 years, there's limited lands available for new development. Phase 1 of this study identified the Northwest Welland lands as the most appropriate location for future greenfield development within the city. In consultation with the region of Niagara, the city has submitted an application to bring the secondary plan area into the city's urban boundary. As part of this request, the development of a coherent and rational secondary plan will appropriately guide and provide direction for new urban development in the area. The first phase of the study involved background research and data collection that assessed the feasibility of the area to accommodate the city's forecasted growth based on a 20-year horizon. Background research involved consideration for agricultural impact, archaeological and cultural heritage resources, engagement with Indigenous communities, municipal servicing, transportation, the natural heritage system, and the city's land needs. Consultation with the public, landowners, and developers occurred through the 2 public information centers held in June 2018 to discuss the study and gain feedback in order to create a vision and confirm preliminary growth directives for the area. A key directions report was developed by our team as part of Phase 2 of the study, recently finalized in June 2020. This report documents the development and evaluation of 2 different land use options for the area, as well as the methodology and evaluation criteria for comparing these options. The result of this phase was a preliminary preferred land use option with key land use and urban design directions that were drafted to inform the preparation of the secondary plan. This report, along with all the background reports, were posted on the city's website at the end of July for review and comment. The final and current phase of the study has involved the preparation of draft secondary plan policies and urban design guidelines for the city, which are posted on the city's website along with this presentation for public review and comment. Based on comments received, these documents may be revised before they are presented to Council on September 22nd. As part of Phase 2 of the study, 2 different land use options were developed. The intention of both was to guide growth in a manner that considers the character of Welland, while creating a residential area with a mixed-use node that provides opportunity for a more walkable and transit-supportive community that respects the natural environment. Both options provide a mix of new low-density residential areas, as shown in yellow, and medium-density residential areas, as shown in orange, as well as a mixed-use area, shown in purple. Existing school sites were maintained in both scenarios, which are shown in red, and connections to Niagara College to the south were made a priority through a new trail network leading to the site, as shown in light brown. This integrated trail network is the same for both options and is intended to act as a spine for active transportation, providing access to the natural heritage system and new parks. The area's natural heritage system includes significant features that are to be protected and maintained, which was made a priority in evaluating both options. Each option also considered a different collector road configuration, as shown in light gray, in order to provide improved access and connections throughout the area. Option 1 maintains the existing residential character of Quaker Road and includes a mixed-use node located south of Quaker Road and along the new collector road, surrounded by new medium-density residential uses. This option also integrates an additional medium-density area in the northeast corner of the plan and 5 new park blocks, shown as dark green squares. 3 of these are relatively large and 2 are smaller. In comparison, option 2 allows the lands along Quaker Road to evolve over time and provides for medium-density residential uses with a new mixed-use node at the intersection of Rice and Quaker Road, as well as 6 park blocks. 2 of these are larger and 4 of these are smaller. As part of the comparison between the 2 land use options, an evaluation matrix was prepared. The matrix weighed the pros and cons of each option based on the plan's ability to achieve the study's objectives and principles. Each option was evaluated against the ability to provide for a diverse mix of housing opportunities and meet density targets, the provision of safe access to daily needs with the ability for residents to walk to the mixed-use node within a 400-meter radius, the ability for residents to walk to parks within 5 to 10 minutes without the need to cross an arterial road, the opportunity to provide for the creation of a vibrant mixed-use and pedestrian-oriented urban village, as well as the ability to appropriately preserve the existing character of Quaker Road, connections to parks, trails, and the natural heritage system, which requires a well-connected active transportation network, the ability to implement appropriate built-form transitions from higher density uses to established low-density neighborhoods based on the location of abutting land uses, and finally, the options were assessed for the protection of both cultural and natural heritage features, the provision of sufficient transportation, capacity, and connectivity of routes for all safe modes of travel, and sufficient levels of service for all water, storm, and sanitary servicing. Once the matrix was completed and evaluated, a preliminary preferred land use plan was developed. This plan was primarily based on option 2, with some modifications to maintain the existing neighborhood character to the west of the Quaker Road and Rice Road intersection, while providing for a centralized mixed-use node at this intersection, adjacent to medium-density residential areas to the east, which are envisioned to evolve over time. A number of new neighborhood parks are located within walking distance from all new residential areas, 2 directly adjacent to natural heritage features, 1 located to the south of the medium-density residential area, 1 located within a low-density residential neighborhood, and 1 central park located adjacent to an easterly school site. This preferred land use plan formed the basis for the development of the draft secondary plan policies and urban design guidelines. The current Welland official plan says that a long-term land use plan for growth and development within the entire city. In order to provide direction for Northwest Welland, new secondary plan policies were developed that build off of the existing policies of the parent official plan and provide additional direction specific to the area. The policies of the secondary plan are structured to provide background and planning context for the area, as well as outline the vision and objectives for the development of Northwest Welland. Similar to the city's parent official plan, the secondary plan is structured to provide direction for each different land use designation. Direction is provided related to the planned function of the area, permitted uses, scale of development, and design considerations. In many instances, the secondary plan refers back to the existing policies of the parent official plan. The secondary plan also provides a few other policy directions related to sustainability measures, as well as transportation, infrastructure and utilities, phasing of development, and implementation. The Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines were developed to provide further design direction based on the policies of the secondary plan in order to help achieve the vision and intent of each land use. Similar to the secondary plan policies, each section of the guidelines is organized by land use element, which includes low and medium density residential, mixed use, as well as parks, open space areas, and the environment. Within each section, guidance is provided for site planning, built form and building design, as well as access and parking. Once complete, the Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines will be included as an addendum to the citywide Urban Design Guidelines. As such, the new guidelines refer back to the design direction provided by the citywide document where applicable. The guidelines are intended to be used by staff, developers, and the public for the evaluation and preparation of development applications within Northwest Welland. Based on the preferred land use plan as previously shown, a new official plan schedule was drafted for Northwest Welland, which delineates the location of each new land use designation, as well as existing and proposed roads and trails. Once complete, this map will form Schedule G of the official plan. The remaining portion of this presentation is organized to highlight the key directions provided for each land use designation within the secondary plan policies and guidelines. The secondary plan is made up of two different low-density residential designations. This includes low-density established residential, as shown in bright yellow, which are existing neighborhoods, and low-density greenfield residential, as shown in pale yellow, which are new areas for neighborhood development that make up the majority of the secondary plan area. Within low-density established residential areas, the policies of the secondary plan direct that new low-rise infill and intensification should respect and fit in with the character of existing neighborhoods in terms of built form, scale, and massing. Low-density greenfield residential areas are to be developed at a minimum density of 15 units per hectare and a maximum density of 24 units per hectare, in accordance with existing official plan policies for low-density residential. The scale of new dwellings should be appropriately spaced and not cause any shadow or overlook impacts, while providing for an appropriate transition in lot sizes adjacent to any low-density residential established areas. The existing citywide urban design guidelines already provide detailed direction for low-density residential development, including site planning and built form considerations. Due to this, the Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines reference that low-density residential development should be consistent with existing guidance. The draft design guidelines provide only a few additional site planning guidelines with reference to orientation and access. This includes encouraging new developments and dwellings to front onto public streets, parks, and natural areas in order to create a positive and attractive public realm experience. Additionally, well-designed garages and parking areas should complement dwellings and improve the quality of streets and lanes through the use of massing, colors, materials, windows, and/or entrances. Dwellings located along arterial or collector roads, including Quaker Road, Rice Road, and First Avenue, should be sited to front the street. In order to achieve a pedestrian-oriented streetscape experience, the design guidelines encourage vehicular access for individual dwelling units to be provided from a rear lane or public street behind dwellings, such as the example images shown. The intent of the medium-density residential designation is to provide for development at increased densities along Quaker Road east of Rice Road to support walkability, transit, and active transportation. The area is to function as a connective spine leading to and from the future mixed-use node located at Quaker and Rice Road. This corridor is to be developed at a minimum density of 25 units per net hectare and a maximum density of 60 units per net hectare, in accordance with the existing official plan policies for medium-density residential areas. The policies of the secondary plan permit a maximum height of 6 stories, with the highest densities encouraged to be developed adjacent to the mixed-use designation area. Triplexes, fourplexes, townhouses, stacked townhouses, and low-rise apartments dwellings are all permitted in accordance with existing official plan permissions. The Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines provide detailed direction for medium-density residential development. As outlined by the guidelines, new dwellings should be oriented to front and define the street edge in order to provide for pedestrian-friendly scale and a sense of public realm enclosure. Where buildings are located adjacent to low-density residential neighborhoods, they should be massed and oriented to provide an appropriate built form transition in order to maintain the low-rise character and scale of the abutting area. The guidelines also encourage accessible common or shared outdoor amenity areas between and within townhouse blocks, such as parkettes or other open areas where appropriate. Buildings are encouraged to be pedestrian scaled and designed to establish a harmonious streetscape experience. This may be achieved through well-articulated and complementary massing, architectural detailing, and landscaping to foster a distinct identity. Driveways, garages, and parking areas should be designed to minimize their impact on streetscapes, and wherever possible, dwellings should integrate vehicular access and parking to the rear of the building. This may involve providing access from a rear lane or public street behind the dwelling, which is encouraged for dwellings located along arterial and collector roads, including Quaker Road and First Avenue. Northwest Welland's mixed-use designation, located at the intersection of Quaker and Rice Road, is envisioned to create a centralized node that will provide for a variety of retail, office, and service commercial opportunities in a pedestrian and transit-oriented manner. This area will also provide opportunities for a range of higher-density residential housing and mixed-use residential buildings to help achieve a balanced community where residents can live, work, and play. Permitted residential buildings include triplexes, fourplexes, townhouses, stacked townhouses, live-work buildings, and low-rise apartments to a maximum height of 8 stories. As outlined by the secondary plan policies, the intent of the designation is to accommodate a mix of 2 or more permitted uses on one site, either within the same building with active uses at grade and residential units above, or integrated as separate buildings on the lot. While the citywide urban design guidelines briefly touch on commercial mixed-use buildings and sites, the development of a mixed-use area is a fairly new concept to the city's existing planning documents. Due to this, it was important to provide detailed design direction for the development of mixed-use buildings and sites within the draft Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines. This is in order to support the development of a livable and attractive public and private realm within the new node. The guidelines encourage buildings to be oriented towards the street with minimal setbacks to create a strong street edge and comfortable public realm for pedestrians. Where variation in setbacks between buildings and along the street is provided, these areas should incorporate public open space, outdoor seating areas, patios, pedestrian walkways, and/or entrances. To encourage safety and walkability, it is important for sites to provide clear and distinct separation between vehicular and pedestrian traffic through landscape and street buffers, as well as clear pedestrian routes and crossings. The design of mixed-use buildings should provide active uses at the ground level, such as retail, restaurant, and service commercial uses, with residential uses situated on the floors above. Within the node, buildings should enhance the public realm through a harmonious and cohesive streetscape design with complementary but not identical massing and architectural detailing, as well as awnings, window treatments, and colors. The design guidelines also emphasize that parking areas should be located behind or between buildings and appropriately buffered and screened from public view. Parallel on-street parking provides convenient, short-term access to public and private spaces and can improve the pedestrian realm at the street edge by providing a buffer to moving traffic. Parking bays are encouraged, as shown in the example images, which include a curb extension at the beginning and end of the parking area. These should be landscaped with street trees or low-level ground cover and street furniture. In alignment with the city's official plan, parks within Northwest Welland are designated open space and recreation. These areas are to be developed as neighborhood parks in accordance with the existing policies of the official plan. As such, the purpose of these areas is to serve the immediate recreation needs of neighborhoods within walking distance. New open space and recreation areas are symbolically shown on the draft secondary plan schedule and are intended to be further delineated at the time of development review and approval. While not designated, the policies of the secondary plan also encourage the development of neighborhood parkettes within new low-density greenfield residential areas. These smaller park areas are intended to provide increased access to green space for residents, generally located within a 200 to 400 meter walking distance within the neighborhood area they serve. As outlined by the Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines, new neighborhood parks should be designed as focal points for neighborhoods. These areas should provide opportunities for active and passive recreation for surrounding residents within a 5 to 10 minute walk, and may include elements such as play structures, small recreational fields, tennis courts, informal playgrounds, seating, hard surface areas, shade trees, landscaping, lighting, and pedestrian walkways. In the development of new neighborhoods, parkettes are encouraged to accommodate smaller facilities such as play structures, informal play areas, seating and shade opportunities, pedestrian pathways, and lighting within a 0.3 to 0.6 hectare area. The secondary plan consists of two different core natural heritage designations: environmental protection areas, shown as dark green, and environmental conservation areas, shown as light green. Existing policies for both of these designations are provided within the city's parent official plan. The Northwest Welland Urban Design Guidelines encourage development to have a positive interface with the natural heritage system, both minimizing any adverse impacts and maximizing views and linkages. This is achieved through the appropriate placement of roads and the location, height, facades, and orientation of buildings located adjacent to natural areas. This also includes avoiding backlotting buildings and parking areas onto parks, trails, and the natural heritage system. Northwest Welland's trail system is integrated alongside the plan's environmental areas. The guidelines also provide that trails should be designed to accommodate a wide range of users and abilities and should be barrier-free where appropriate, with multiple access points visible from the street or public areas. To view the draft secondary plan policies, schedules, and urban design guidelines for Northwest Welland, please visit the city's website by following the link provided. If you have any comments, we would really appreciate receiving your feedback. Please direct your comments to the city by September 8th using the contact information listed on this slide. Once all feedback and comments are received, the draft documents may be revised before they are presented to Council on September 22nd for consideration and further feedback. Following the upcoming presentation to Council, the documents will be finalized based on public and Council feedback and discussion with City staff. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation and participate in the engagement process.